All right, good morning, everybody. We'll get this meeting called to order. Thank you for attending. First thing is approval of the agenda.
Go ahead.
I'll move to approve the agenda.
I'll second.
Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Minutes of the March 24th, 26th board meeting.
I'll make a motion to approve.
And I'll second.
Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Public hearing for budget 2026-27.
I'll make a motion to open.
And I'll second.
Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any written comments?
I've not received any.
Me neither.
I have not either.
Karen, did you get anything? Nope. You gone? Verbal comments. Tap the mic on there and it's a button right there on the front of it.
Good morning. I'm Dennis Wilhoit, 334 East 5th Street. Today, I'm speaking to seek clarification regarding public notice requirements for recent budget-related meetings. As I understand it, under Iowa law, House File 718, updated in 2023, counties are required to provide public notice not only through traditional means, but also through county website and, where applicable, official social media channels. In reviewing the tax levy, the budget statement meeting held on March 24th, as well as today's current meeting, I was unable to locate for either one of those meetings on the county's website or on its social media platforms notification of these meetings. I also reviewed prior postings from previous years and was unable to find evidence of this requirement being met in the previous year either. It is entirely possible that I have overlooked where this information was posted, and if so, Chairman Batterson, I would appreciate being directed to it now.
I don't know where we posted other than the website.
Share the county one. I would have to look at the county Facebook page to see if it, I can't answer that
Our Facebook page ain't up and going fully yet. So
fully yet. And the website, I'm even in charge and who posts on the website.
don't have access to it.
I don't either.
So if these notices were not properly posted as required by law, that raises concern not about any one individual, but about the compliance with statutory requirements designed to ensure transparency and public access. Given the importance of the county budget and the public's right to be informed, I would respectfully request clarification before we move further on whether these notice requirements were met. If they were not, I would urge the board to take appropriate corrective action to ensure the integrity of this process and maintain public confidence moving forward.
So Karen has it up, that's on the county website. Are you talking about the actual posting
The
of
public notice posting that is posted in the paper of record needs to be on the county website and on social media accounts.
I posted on the county Facebook page yesterday. It's on there.
The public, the agenda is not a public notice. The public notice is. The public notice on the website? I couldn't find it. And where is that on the website?
That is on the Buffalo County Board of Supervisors site under meetings and meetings and agenda.
And the notices, where in that list?
So I'm on the veterans page right now and they've posted the notice of public hearing proposed property tax levy. And that is for the hearing for, make it bigger here. Yeah, I know I've seen it floating around.
I see it on the social, on the website here. I haven't seen it on the social media though.
Yeah, I have it on, I have it on the veterans page right here. I knew I seen it somewhere.
But that's not the county's
Correct.
Facebook page. And I would urge you to consider making public notices separate from meetings and agenda list, because a public notice is more than a meetings agenda.
Yeah, like I said, our Facebook page, we just started. It's not fully operational yet, so.
I'm not sure that that constitutes not posting it when it is the official Facebook page of the county. But those are my concerns this morning, and I appreciate finding that for me because I could not find it. I was not looking under meetings and agendas. And I will say, I do feel that that needs to be a public post, stated as a public notice as opposed to within the meetings and agendas, because those are different things. Thank you.
Anybody else?
Good morning. I'm Eric Livingston. I'm speaking on behalf of the Veterans Affairs Commission. We wanted to point out that agenda number 5 is going to be talking about the Department of Veterans Affairs. The director is going to be speaking specifically about our budget. So I think it's important to address it at this point. They're going to be talking about our budget here in a few minutes, or when we get to that point. Basically, what he's going to be talking about is that our budget this year was $118,000. We submitted a budget request from the commission for $117,000. And it was reduced. The approved current last we saw was 103. One of the things that's desperately important to us right now is Tim Evans, our new director, has started out in a hole that he's trying to dig himself out of. He's doing an awesome job keeping up with day-to-day business, but he's not filling in that hole. We think it's of utmost importance that he has an assistant that helps him get out of that hole. So we're requesting 20 hours a month, or 20 hours a week for an assistant to help him. 20 hours specifically is asked for because to get full accreditation for that position, that individual needs to be working 20 hours or more per week. But with the 103 number that we're looking at, that assistant's not likely, or it's going to be underfunded. Tim, working the number of hours he is right now, have an assistant would be a pay raise for him. It would be burden off of his shoulders. He can't take a day off without falling behind. Whether it's training, which is required by the state, him having a sick day, or even taking vacation is going to put him behind, and it's going to make him work twice as hard as he already is. I think no one would say that he's not doing an awesome job in the position he is. But if he can't catch up to where he should be, he's just going to be helping the new clients and leaving the older packages and the mess that was in his office when he showed up. It's going to remain unchanged for years. So with that, I'd like, if we want to address that when we get to agenda number 5, that'd be fine. Or if we want to jump to that right now, I'd be fine with that as well.
Well, you've kind of opened the door on the budget for veterans, so I don't think it's going to violate anything. We go ahead and hear all the veterans' comments now on that. So,
Good. Tim, would you like to?
Okay. First, I'd like to acknowledge all the vets that are here. We appreciate you. We wouldn't be here without you. I'd also like to acknowledge the Board of Supervisors. Recently, I was contacted about a veteran that had been abandoned in Des Moines. He passed away. His remains were abandoned, and the Board of Supervisors worked with the funeral home to secure that veteran, and he's going to be delivered to my office. And I've been in contact with Final Salute, and in their October Final Salute, that Wapello County veteran will be interred in Van Meter. So I just wanted to say thank you for that. I will speak quickly. Wasn't expecting this soon, but I did want to cover the annual report, which really isn't annual. I went back to when I started. I was hired April 14th. I started taking veterans on June 2nd, learning on the job as I went. I did want to report that during the time between June 2nd and 2025 and 31 March 2026, I've had 1,434 unique veteran contacts. That broke down to 3 in June, 77 in July, 171 in August, 165 in September, 169 in October, 140 in November. December was of 171, January 156, February was 161, March 207. During that same time frame, I've got 60 known veteran claims that were granted anywhere between 1 disability and 8. I think there was one as high as 10, granted ranging from 0% to 100%. I say known because although I ask the veterans to contact me anytime they get anything from the VA, oftentimes they don't. And the VA doesn't notify me. And I simply don't have the time to touch every single file every month that I have. It's just impossible time-wise. So that breaks down to between 6 and 7 veterans getting granted disabilities every single month since I started. Currently, I have at least 80 active claims. This is old. Currently 80 active claims in processing, representing over 250 separate disabilities that have been claimed. I also currently have 61 intents to file that have submitted. That's simply where we've started the process. What Eric was talking about, I've gone through boxes in the back room. I still have, I've estimated at around 13,000 documents left that I get to when I can, because I'm trying to keep current stuff current and keeping the
Is that all the ones that were left?
yes, sir.
left over? Or-
Yes, sir. I started with, I've hammered that down quite a bit. But there's still around my estimate about 13,000 documents left to go through. And out of those, a number of veterans that have out of that group that got their claims granted is because I would take some out of there at a time while I was working the current and able to finish their claims that had been started and left behind. And I had to renew most of them. The dollar amount, I went from in May of 2025, the total claim amount, and that includes life compensation, pension, survivors' pensions, dependents, insurance, was $1,014,847 per month. That flows into the pockets of veterans, their dependents, surviving spouses. To compare, in February, March's numbers are not out. That number, I brought it from 1,014,847 to the end of February. It was $1,155,149, an increase of $140,302 monthly flowing into the pockets of Wapello County veterans, and roughly an increase of 70% over a comparable time the previous year. Another major difference is how general funds, general services are dispersed. One of the things we discovered when I first started, we were in arrears over $10,000 between Hy-Vee and Fairway in invoices that had just never been submitted. That's tax dollars. That's what I consider tax dollars. So we've been really judicious with that. We changed the commission. I changed the entire process, and to date, we have changed that to fiscal year to date from July. So far, we've got $1,836.62 for food vouchers and provisions, $1,618 for rent payments, and $484.87 in utility payments. Again, it's the taxpayers' dollars, and I'm a taxpayer also, so we do pay close attention to that. other things that we've been able to do through various services such as the Iowa Trust Fund, Veterans Trust Fund, and the Legacy, putting in a chairlift for a veteran that couldn't get out of his house. He was able to see the sun for the first time in a long time by that. Chairs that simply lift them. Emergency roof repairs, emergency front door repairs. Things of this nature are outside of the typical thing that we think about when we're talking about some guy working on claims. But it's not just claims, it's the funeral things, it's the pensions. This morning before I got here, I got a call from some correctional facility, I'm not for sure, a veteran that was just getting out, and we need to submit to have his disabilities reinstated. So the gamut of what we do is complete. And so regarding the budget, the other thing I wanted to point out is because I'm a 100% disabled veteran, when I was hired, I declined the insurance because I just cover all my insurance through the VA. And so one of the things that we'd like the board to consider when thinking about how we can fit this into our budget, if we are able to do that, is to consider that that's a dollar amount the county is not spending whatsoever. I did talk to my compatriot in Monroe County, and she mentioned that their budget was $150,000 a year. Now, you can't compare apples to apples here because it's two different counties with two different sets of expenses. And in their budget, actually in the Veterans Department, the actual insurance costs were included in that budget too. So, but the point is we appreciate that you're willing to work with us and listen to us regarding our concerns. We know there's a budget crisis, and we're going to work and do everything we possibly can in order to, number one, is facilitate what the veterans need. And that's why I'm there. So I think that about covers it for me, unless I forgot something.
Again, we feel that with what Tim's doing, with the amount of money coming into the county and everything, that he desperately needs somebody in there to help with the claims, with the administration part of it, so that the poor guy can have a day off now and then. I mean, as it is, yeah, he can take a day off, but he comes back, then he's got twice the work because he took a day off. It's not fair to him to not be able to take time off and not have to suffer consequences.
Are we still utilizing the 28Es we had with the other four? Was it 4 of them or 5 of them? Other counties?
I didn't hear the question.
No, we're not using those.
We are solely dependent upon Tim.
So
Yeah, yikes.
So busy themselves that they are not taking on any Wapello County veterans either. They're not taking on any other counties outside of theirs because of the mass amount that they have to do. So I spoke to another county VSO about this, and they said that, if they can't fit them in, they have to send them to Des Moines to a VSO there. All counties are like this. I mean, everybody's swamped. They won't even be able to take in what's needed out of Wapello County. Although we could get credit for that, they won't be able to take it either. So Tim's digging himself out of the hole, as we all know, that was left behind, and trying to get to that point of being able to have new faces coming in, but having new faces and having the ones that were left behind, that were completely forgotten, that we found in cardboard box, that nothing was ever filed. These veterans were losing out a lot of money, and it's not unusual for him to call me or text me from the office at 6 o'clock at night because he's still working. He needs to take a vacation. He plans on taking a couple of weeks for personal things that he needs to have done. Can you imagine how many phone calls, how many voicemails are going to be just on that phone when he gets back?
I did want to add to that. I just took a voice message yesterday from a veteran. He was actually calling to find out if we can assist in one of those chairs that can lift him up. And I always ask how you are on your benefits. And he said, yeah, great. I just got 80% and it only cost me $3,000. So I inquired why it cost him. Well, he didn't know that I was up there, and another veteran said, hey, you got to try these people. So I have the name and information for those individuals because I need to make sure that they're legit. But my point is, after speaking with him for a short bit, he's a Vietnam vet. He was boots on the ground, and they did nothing with any of his health problems as far as coronary or diabetes, or they just got the PTSD thing, right? And so that's just another example of that's $3,000 that was not in the pocket. And it can be, I just spoke to another vet, it was over $10,000 that it cost them to use somebody outside. So that's something else we need to consideration, because the money goes into the pockets of the vets and it gets spent. That's over $1 million a month, every month. And although it's not all being spent here in the county, but a good portion of it is. So just a thought.
Tim is very passionate about what he does. I mean, from my experience, the VSOs we've had in the past, they would go in, they would find a claim, they would file it and, get whatever was easy to see. Tim goes in and he digs into the stuff and he makes sure that they're getting everything that they're entitled to. He fights for these vets like you wouldn't believe.
We've had nothing but compliments, and several of them.
Several of them.
No, that's one reason why he got a big increase in his salary. So
They keep selling me the wrong lottery numbers, so I'll be here for a while.
I'd like to bring some emphasis on something that Tim said earlier. One of the reasons it was identified for us why the budget is being reduced is because we didn't spend all of our money in the previous fiscal year. And what Tim just said is over $10,000 from the previous fiscal year was not paid. So we had to bring forward to pay those bills because they're not identified for the invoices he spoke about for Hy-Vee and Fairway. So if we had actually paid our bills because of the situation we're in, that led to the fact that we did not use all of that. It's not because we didn't need the money. It's because of the inefficiency of the previous director.
And the office was closed for 6 months. Essentially. During all of everybody, you all know what happened last year. There's something else I was going to say. It's just left me. I'm sorry, it'll come back to me. The office was closed. I'm sorry. If it comes back to me, I'll raise my hand. I know I can. She said that night the next day, and I have a lot of friends that are veterans, and they all very highly of him and the work that he does. And I think he's a very big asset to the county. And I was here, I would be that.
I would like to address.
I don't plan on going anywhere. I want to throw that out there. I mean,
yeah, go ahead.
Perhaps you know this, but I'm the person that meets with the VA board on a monthly basis, the commission that operates for Tim. And we've certainly discussed this. My comment to them was that it's going to be difficult to change the budget in the short term, but that we could always do an amendment of the budget as the year proceeds. So I made that clear to them that we can do that. And I just want to, you look at this years ago, like 2 or 3 years ago, we were actually at a budget, I think, of around 130,000, 134,000. And it's been reduced a couple times now. And I think at that point, we were spending money on some things that were not necessarily appropriate. And it wasn't just on the service that Tim provides. So I think that cutting it a little bit was appropriate. I also And Darren, you mentioned about the 28E agreements. I also brought that to their attention. I think it's a pretty decent idea. And the reason that would work, I think, is because in the short term, you want to hire a part-time person, but then if we get through this backlog, we probably don't need that person is the hope. Now that's maybe not the case, but one of my thoughts is to add some dollars to the budget that would pay for some 28E agreement contractors to come in. They did it in the past. I can't see that they couldn't do it in the future. And I heard what you said on that, so we can consider that. So in light of all that, and I want to also remind everyone that at our meetings, the three of us on the budget, I was an advocate when the VA met with us to put money in for the assistant or the contract assistants. And I was also in favor of the salary increase. So just, I wanted to make sure that that was clear. So I'm open to some future discussion and figuring this out with the two of you too. Thank you.
Important to say, there is a bill out right now. House, Steve, you remember what the file number is, 647 or something like that? And, this bill that 99% sure will be passed and the governor will sign it. It gives basically the jurisdiction over to Iowa Veterans Department Affairs. They will be in charge of all of the training. Part of this bill, the one that really, really is going to affect every single county, is that they are requiring, before we got a $10,000 allotment or grant every year, we could basically count on that $10,000. And the guidelines, we followed the guidelines for what that could be used for, which came in very handy for us. Now, the requirement is going to be that you have to have a percentage increase to receive money. So they're going to do it as a tier thing. So if you, I can't remember what the exact percentages are off the top of my head, but if you meet that, which is probably, they think is only gonna be maybe 3 or 4 counties, you'll get the $10,000. It's gonna graduate down. You may only get $3,000. That means that more work is put on the VSOs, because not only are they now trying to work, Tim especially, he is trying to work the past problems, the present, but now the state doesn't understand that not every veteran qualifies for benefits, but you have to see that veteran and you have to work them up. You have to have an appointment with them to find out if they do qualify for benefits. So the time is still there. It's still being taken. Even if they don't qualify for benefits, the state wants to know how much increase have we done in this office to provide more care and more benefits to those veterans out there. Does that make sense? We're still gonna have that time taken up in the office to talk for Tim and hopefully, another VSO to at least talk to them and find out if they do qualify.
And likely reducing our budget for the money that we get.
Right, and then, right, exactly, we won't be counting on our $10,000 anymore. And the outreach still has to be there, the money still has to be paid for outreach, but likely they're gonna project growth and then, match it with the dollars that they see. 99% sure that bill will get passed and the governor will sign it, and it'll go in probably effect for fiscal year 27. Right? Don't you think, Steve?
No,
I mean, for,
I've got the bill right here. And can I come up to the mic?
Yeah.
Because I had a 2-hour speech prepared.
sorry,
That's shorter than normal.
Tim, you would be. My name is Steve Croft. I live in Humboldt.
Can you hit that on for him there?
It helps to turn it on. I speak today not only as a member of the Wapello County Veterans Commission, but I'm also the commander of the Disabled American Veterans Post Number 1 at Tumwa. We advocate on behalf of disabled veterans legislatively and in our communities. We have a lot of people in this room who are dying. Now, we're all dying. But there are fellow Vietnam veterans here, boots on the ground, who were hit with Agent Orange. We all have benefits based on that. Veterans who have served in other wars, whether it's the Gulf War, the first Gulf War, Iraq, Afghanistan, Syria, wherever, we are all exposed to hazards that most people are not exposed to. We have fewer than 600 veterans in Wapello County receiving benefits. We have approximately 1,800 veterans residing in the county. Now, Tim is doing a fantastic job. We've all heard good news about how he's taking care of veterans, and that's a pleasant change. But I also have seen the files that he's talking about. No, I didn't open the file folder. But I pulled the files open, and there are hundreds of files. Some of those folks are dead already, but there are others who had filed intents, who had filed claims. He's going through those. It's a Herculean task, without belaboring the point, for him to get through all of those files. He needs, even if on a temporary basis, he needs somebody in there who's qualified and can help him. Now, I realize as a board of supervisors, having been through a budget process in the military and as pastors of a pastor of churches, I realize you're dealing with competing interests. I realize that not everybody's going to get what they're asking for. I understand that. I understand the process. I understand the decisions that you have to make. But I would ask today on behalf of Tim and on behalf of the veterans in this county who may not be aware that they have benefits, that he's going to need some help in squaring away some of these older records, the filing, the other tasks that he's required to do as part of his job. Less than 600 are receiving benefits. There are around 1,800 in the county. We need a stronger outreach. I don't know how this bill is going to affect it. I've read it 3 or 4 times. It's written in legalese, and unless you're a lawyer, it's hard to understand. I'm not sure how it's going to impact the county VSOs. I do know that it's going to place possibly a burden on the county VSOs to up production. And that's going to put even more pressure on Tim, where he may not be able to devote the time that he should be devoting to the veterans in the county. I want to thank all of the veterans that showed up today. And I want to thank you for listening, for at least taking into consideration the needs of the VSO and the outreach to veterans in this county. Thank you.
Thanks, Steve.
Thank you.
Tim, are you getting your $10,000 this year,
Yes,
next fiscal year?
we got it.
And you can use half of that for part-time, right? 5,000.
No.
I don't,
Mm-mm.
yeah, I would have to look for the specifics.
The way that money can be used is if the board of supervisors agrees to fund for the next coming years
The
for
one time,
wages for a part-time.
I think it's a one
Yeah,
time.
it's a one-time deal, yes.
One-time shot that comes with the board of supervisors agreeing to hire someone and pay those wages from then on out.
Good morning. I am not a vet. However, I am an Army brat, so I have a few things to say. I processed disability applications for 4 counties in California for 20 years. And I can tell you it was very difficult a number of times to deal with those applications because they were filing for county service disability. We had very good disability benefits. And more often than not, who was at my door were veterans who were to actually been disabled as a result of their military service, not from county service. And I was in the unfortunate position of having to deny those claims or to downgrade them to non-service connected disability. What does this have to do with what we're talking about today? It's just a fact that veterans in this country have been overlooked and dismissed and forgotten. All these files we're talking about are real people. They are not files, they are people. And even those who have died have, in some cases, spouses who should be getting benefits. So I just wanted to put that on your radar. I also wanted to, and I'm not trying to lecture you, I understand very well the budget challenges you face. A bunch of us have volunteered in the past to assist in the Veterans Service Office this is years past, to help with the backlog. But of course, there are confidentiality and training requirements that make that not possible now. However, I would suggest, especially in light of what the state is doing, that somebody get a hold of a representative or a senator and get a bill in the works to provide some mechanism where volunteer assistants can be trained. People can do this for free to assist. It's not going to help you this year, but it could help in the future. The last thing I wanted to say is that Wapato County has a disproportionate number of Vietnam era vets. They are older, they have more complex needs. And I suspect, without knowing, but I suspect that a number of the cases that are those files in the drawers are from people who, as you've heard today, were boots on the ground in a prolonged conflict that need help. So thank you for listening.
Go ahead. I knew you weren't done.
You are not, like that. It's one of the things. You're not against veterans.
Absolutely not.
I know that you're trying to balance the needs of the whole county. But we do have, I would, without being too histrionic, we do have a dire need for a certain.
It all just boils down to the state giving us more mandated things to pay for with no funds. And it's a dying shame that the board members can't help in any way, can't get in any of these files. When Rick had me come down and look at this stuff before, you can't even, you can just see boxes. You can't go in close enough to see how many people are there because you can't access some of that information. So the restrictions of being able to help hand tie you. That's one reason I was asking about the 28Es, if they could still come over and help catch up. So, but I know other counties are the same as us, and they're the same as us on many avenues. As even Don standing there can tell you other sheriffs are in the same boats. There's just not enough money to go around, and nobody wants to pay more taxes, and that's where we fund 90% of all this from. So and like Brian had told you before, we can't make a whole lot of changes. I don't think we can make any changes to the budget right now, but because it's already been turned in. But down the road, we can look at ways to do an amendment and fund it, cross it over. I was running some numbers while you was talking. So if you had a part-time, your budget, which you turned in at 118,000, would actually increase to 123,000. So it'd be higher than what you turned in. And that's one reason we wanted, we rewarded you with your, your board was adamant they wanted you to get more money. So to get you comparable. So we did that. We got you up to the comparable, but
I appreciate that too. I don't think that
it was like you was in the meeting. It's kind of, do you want the raise or do you want a part-timer?
Well, I think I recorded as saying, I'll take the part-time over the raise any day of the week.
Yep. And you said that, but your board didn't want that for you. So,
Thank you, though.
huh? Yeah. You guys didn't want that for him,
No, we never said that.
that you wanted for him to forego his raise to get the part-time.
Have the part-time individual in there
Mhm.
is a raise for Tim. Maybe not a financial raise, but it's giving him time back in his pocket, it's giving him a personal life.
Right. A one-man department. You're right. He takes off. He's closed. I know that's, yeah. Yeah, that's where Rick and I running that stone wall last year was talking about what to do because you can't really do anything.
Otherwise, I would rather spend hours a week down there.
What was the part-time before certified? They weren't certified. They could only do certain things, right? She was certified, yes. The part-timer before, were they certified?
Yes. Terry Bradley had the office. Bernie Parrish was also a part-time VSO. And you have to be certified through the state and through nationals to become a VSO, to, like Cindy said, to even be able to walk in that room and look at a file. You have to go through all of the certification classes. Yes, Bernie was part-time.
And just so you know, I was in favor of the pay increase and he's still underpaid. And I was in conflict with the commission on that issue perhaps, but I feel strongly that we need to pay our people what they're worth.
I'd be willing to sit down and have a meeting because we can't change anything now and published and all that. So absolutely.
We haven't received a copy of the budget. Nobody in the final budget, it's done.
I'll send it to you.
Okay,
Thank you.
yeah, because none of us have received any of it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And Danielle's sitting there. You can check on that. Yeah, so Tim just set up a meeting time and when Rick's busy and you can be there and we'll be good to go.
I should have time in June.
We'll do it on your lunch.
I already worked during my lunch, so.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you guys.
Thank you.
Okay. Any more verbal comments on the budget? Okay, Steve.
Is the only office that produces income. We do. I stand corrected.
And the treasurer.
Five, at least What they do with the other $500,000, I don't know, but my pockets are open. But there is a financial incentive with the, and more money flows in, you're right, Terry, it's done. And we can talk about it. But just as a point of interest, it's hard to boil down life to an economic value, but you have to. Whole life is $1,100,000 a month in county coming in to Wapco County, part of which is going into the profit. I ain't saying another word.
It's a dying shame that we're not giving more to the veterans at the state level. And now we're hearing that they're going to cut the allotment, that the restrictions on spending that make it hard to spend it anyway. Because I think we had to send some of it back last year or the year before. I mean, a lot of it was the administrative. Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, we should never have to send any of that back. So, okay. Any other comments, Steve? All right. Have entertained a motion to close in the public hearing.
I'll make a motion to close.
And I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Resolution 62026, adopt fiscal year 26-27 budget.
I'll make a motion to approve.
And I'll second, but I'd like to comment before we
Go ahead.
vote. So thank you. You know what we've been through on this budget. And I feel that in the end, we need to be more aggressive on raising the revenue side of things. And we've had some opportunities to do that have not happened. I'd like us to take that more seriously in the future as a Board of Supervisors. And I also feel like there's some areas of our budget that could have been cut more if we could change some of the things that are going on in the county. And I feel we have the power to do that. In the short term, we're limited on doing that, but I think we need to commit ourselves to cutting some of the expenses in the future so that they're more realistic for our size of county. And so I think I am committed to that in the future. With all that in mind, I'm still in favor of passing this budget at this time, knowing that we can always adjust it as we need to. So thank you.
Okay. Before I call for a vote, just to clarify, we went from a $300,000 deficit. Is that correct? And every department absorbed some of the cuts. So it's not anybody in particular.
Specifically. There was a lot of budget cuts.
And some people volunteered to cut things they just couldn't cut. Like Lisa sitting there, she's, I'll make more cuts. Where do you? That's like trying to cut slender already. Can't do it. There's nothing for her to cut, but she was volunteering to try to take more off to help other departments. And this is by far the worst cutting we had to do. And now we still don't know what the state's going to do. If we had an idea where they're coming with taxes, it would sure help us make a budget. Trying to make a budget before we know what they're doing with taxes is kind of backwards. They should have their end set so we know what to do on our end. One of the proposals they was talking about, like for you said you would have to have a 1% increase to get your allotment. They were going to control the county budgets to no more than a 2% increase total. So that would be hard to show a 1% increase. You'd never probably get the allotment. So with that, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
On to number 4, public hearing for rezoning application land on a residential C2 highway service submitted by Waylon Rains. Motion to open the public hearing.
I'll make a motion to open.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Written or comments? Did you had phone calls, right? Not written.
I
not for this public hearing.
Okay.
When we had before the zoning commission, we had two members from the public present. One of them was across the street from Wayland Rains. Colin Vandalo spoke in favor of that. He was not opposed to the rezoning application. And then Mr. and Mrs. Brown at 5638 Madison Avenue. At first, they had some reservation about that until they came to the public hearing, realized that it is a small lot, an area that he wants to have the cars, approximately 10 cars or less. Some of the concerns that they had, along with some of my commission members, is they did not want this to be a junkyard. Mr. Raines stated that these would be clean titles, they would not be salvage titles. So that gave the members a little bit of peace of mind on that. And they are recommending approval for it.
Okay. And you say it's limited to 10?
Yep. He said no more than 10 cars on the lot and they would be clean titles.
And can I ask, is that specified in the application? In his application?
Yes, he did
is.
state that it would be no more than 10. And in my minutes and in the public hearing, it was stated that they would be clean titles.
Perfect.
You have anything to add, Waylon? I see you sitting there.
That's for several neighbors. Nobody seems to have an issue with it. There's commercial just down the road. I mean, I'm not very far from commercial right now as it is with other businesses. There's several LLCs with the neighboring of me. So it's kind of a business area, I would call it, just not zone commercial to do it. So that's what I'm reaching out to get done today.
It's gonna have to be a new building or driveway or anything built.
It'll just be the lot where it is, and there'll be access from Madison Avenue to the lot, and there'll be just gonna build like a shed on skids for an office. It'll have electric, and that's all we need is what I'm told.
Okay.
And they'll have handicap access as well, which is a requirement.
Anything else, Miranda?
No, not at this time.
All right. Yes, sir.
Yeah, like across from where Vandalos live, like almost straight across from him.
I'm assuming a thumbs up, you're good. Okay. Any other verbal comments? All right. Motion to close public hearing.
I'll move to close.
I'll second.
Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Waiving the second and third hearing.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Well, do we have to do that as?
We have the motion.
Oh,
we have motion to waive it. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Second.
All those in favor of waiving the second, third hearing.
Aye.
Aye.
Resolution 10, 2026, approval rezoning application.
I'll make a motion to approve.
And I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
And Tim, you don't have anything else to add on the Veterans Annual Report, correct? You're up.
Sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's her.
Miranda will.
She's going to take your money.
She already took it.
All right. On to number 6, John Moreland. See here?
Yeah.
Morning.
Morning.
Last time I appeared before the Board of Supervisors was in 1961 when I was hired as an assistant county attorney. I don't want to date myself, but it give you a little bit of an idea. And in the course of that career that I had here practicing law, Dick Schlegel and Art McGivern were very instrumental in my career in many, many ways. But overlooked was my friend Judge Doherty. And, and I'm proposing that the main courtroom be named after Judge Doherty. And one of the things that will be a part of that is this picture of him, which appeared in 1924 in a composite picture of all the members of the Bar Association. He was a wonderful man, not formally educated, but he knew the way to get to the right solution. I'll give you a little anecdote about it. When I was in the county attorney's office, they called me one day and said a prisoner who had sentenced was being let out of Fort Madison, and he said to one of the people on the discharge, first thing I'm gonna do is have it out with that judge that sent me down here. So Sam Earhart, the county attorney, sent me out to the judge's house to talk to him and let him know that the police were available to, and the sheriff, to have a guard set up. He said, oh, that won't be necessary. It's not the guy who tells you he's gonna get you that you gotta worry about. It's the guy who doesn't tell you that he's gonna get you. At any rate, I thought he was on the bench 35 years. And I thought a very appropriate way to honor the judge would be to name the courtroom after him. We're gonna hang the pictures of all the Bar Association people in the main courtroom. And as a part of that, we'll have a little ceremony in May or whenever we get all of the things done. Luckily, I found the judge's great grandmother out in Massachusetts. I had some great conversations with her about what I'd like to do, and she's all in favor of it, and she's going to designate one of the members of her family to come out if we have a formal ceremony and hang the judge. That's all I've got. Any questions I'd be happy to answer.
Any comment?
Contradict what I'm saying because
Well, Steve, do you have a comment? Didn't want to leave you out. Any other comments? All right. I think it's a great thing. Obviously none of us have been around that long, so except for Steve, but yeah, so if you get a date after, assuming we approve it, I haven't heard any rebuttal, we'll get a date for a ceremony, we'll get it advertised and get it set up. So, and you, all right. So motion to approve the
I'll make-
renaming of the courthouse.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thanks, John.
Thank you.
That means you're going to have to come back once.
it's my unexpected, my obituary.
Resolution 8-2026, 2025 utility values.
This is just-
And it's all listed by different townships and counties. So
I'm gonna make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Resolution 9-2026, transfer of funds from general supplemental to health fund.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Yeah, I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Officer training reimbursement agreement with Tate and Ricard. And then Don,
Contact we, have with new employees, with the deputies to reimburse for the training aspect. We invest several $1,000s in them and for their contract, so they have 25% each year that's left on the contract.
What-
Basically having fees.
you know what the total dollar is?
5 or 75.
7,500.
Right under $7,500.
Yeah, 79. Just under 8,000. So, okay.
I'll move to approve the contract.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thanks, Don. Resolution 112026, comp and assign county health tax sales certificate for Dominique McCormick.
This was on there last month or last time as well. I'm gonna make a motion to approve.
Now second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Yeah, we approved it. Actually approved this last meeting, but the wrong paperwork was filled out. So resignation letter from Kelly Spurgeon, Wapello County Auditor. Kelly isn't here, is she? She is stepping down. Is it
I'm not sure what day her last day is. Do you know, Danielle? I thought that's what it was, April 30.
and Lori just corrected me. We didn't approve that one last meeting. That was a different one. So April 30th resolution from the auditor. All those in favor?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Oh yeah, we should have that first, huh?
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I think she's gonna be working at the school full time.
Yeah, so I'm gonna ask Danielle, can you stand up and tell us the process and let everybody know how that works?
Okay, so with the auditor resigning, that'll create a vacancy in the office for county auditor. And you as the board can decide to appoint somebody to that or call for a special election. If appointment is the decision by the board, it does have to happen within 40 days of the vacancy occurring. There will be a notice in the Courier explaining the process, and also that the public could, if appointment is the decision, the public could petition for a special election. If appointment is the route that the board decides, the person would only be appointed until the November election, because that office will be on the ballot this November to fill vacancy.
Is that 40 days from resignation date or letter?
40 days after the vacancy occurs.
So May 1st then.
Can we appoint a person prior to May 1st, or do we have to wait till after the date?
We have to wait till it's vacant probably.
You have to appoint within the 40 days.
Right, but can we do it before April 30th, or do we need to do it right after that?
You have to wait until it's published.
Right, we have to have the notice. Yeah.
Any questions for that process or for Danielle?
Thank you.
Thank you. Hope you enjoy your steak. Any other business come before the board?
I have an item too, so what we can do. Okay. Just a comment. Last meeting, I handed out a revision to the ordinance that we've been working on. And at this point, we still have no ordinance. I feel like what we paid for on for the company that did the ordinance for us was reasonable. I made some small adjustments to it. I would still like to proceed with discussion on that. One option is to wait for the state to decide if they're going to do anything, but the state, I doubt, will do anything. So I'd still like to continue to work on that because no ordinance is not acceptable. So I'll leave it at that. We can discuss it in the future.
All right, guys.
Travis Castor, Wapello County Assessor. I just wanted to let everybody know yesterday with Governor Reynolds declaring us a disaster declaring a disaster proclamation for Wapello County, changes some things for our office. Our typical appeal dates are April 2nd to the end of April. That is extended out to June 5th. Being we were, I don't know what word, appointed or whatever for the disaster, declared it as a disaster county. So my board of review, which is typically in session the month of May, will have to be, can go all the way to July 15th. But like I said, we'll accept applications or appeals up until June 5th. What I would like to note is that just because the deadline's been extended, we still are, the protest is still for what was there as of January 1st. So we can't do anything for damage that's been done after the 1st of January. As far as appeals, that doesn't mean you can't appeal, but what you're appealing was what was there as of January 1. So with the storm being after that, there's really nothing for us to change. And obviously that'll be up to the board of review, but they should be looking at what's there as of January 1. So with the disaster declaration, it does extend those, but it doesn't mean that any damage done after the 1st is what you would be protesting. So if anybody has any questions about that, they're welcome to contact our office.
Anybody in here have a question for Travis on that? Your assessed values. All right. Anybody else? All right. Entertain a motion to close the meeting.
I'll make motion.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, everybody, for coming.
Thank you.
Email.